Hello and welcome to episode 10 of the FUTBIN podcast. Yes, we made it to double figures and the only way is up from here. Myself, Richard Buckley, will be your host this evening alongside my assistant manager. He's here each and every single week, Mr. Matt Foot Trading. Matt, how was the weekend? Another FUT champs in the bag?
Another FUT champs in the bag. Matchmaking was supposedly harder. Another 14-1.
Yeah, you can't teach it. You honestly can't teach it. Look, the less said about my champs record, the better. We'll move quickly on to a man who champs is like a walk in the park for him. He's a former pro player, maybe even current pro player after this weekend's performance in the qualifier. Content creator, presenter, and good friend of ours, Mr. Ryan Pessoa. Welcome to the FUTBIN pod. How are we, sir?
Yeah, thank you for having me. I'm good. I can't lie, I'm tired. It's an early morning for me, but yeah, I've been enjoying the champs weekends across the accounts, to be fair.
And we're going to get onto those accounts very shortly. A couple of different ones. We're going to be highlighting the Welbeck to Glory account today. What else do we have coming up for you on this episode? Well, let me break it down. We're going to be talking through Ryan's team and tactics. We're going to be getting Mr. Matt Foot Trading's trading tips because we've had a big week. We've got another gauntlet to look forward to and a new segment. We've got Buckley's big discussion this week. We've got two big talking points that have been circulating the FC community when we're talking matchmaking in FUT Champs. What went wrong last week? Was it easier? Was it better this week? Are the tougher games what we want in FUT Champions? And goalkeeper movement. The Ugly Sister has once again reared its head and goalkeeper movement is back in the spotlight. All that to come on this week's FUTBIN podcast. But let's start with your weekend, Ryan Pessoa. Before we get into the team, you competed in the pro qualifier. You rolled. How was that? Why did you compete? And how did you get on?
I'll start off with why I competed. To be honest, there's no real reason why. I didn't put a lot of hours in. I didn't put any hours in, to be fair, in terms of practicing, but played the ladder, enjoyed it, and I felt like I was at a decent enough level to know that I wouldn't go 0-3 like I've done before. So I just went in with my own team that I used for FUT Champs because it fit the restrictions. And yeah, I done decently well. Like a lot of the players I played were sort of close to qualifying as well in the knockouts. But yeah, I just lost the last round to make it.
It gave you that itch again.
Yeah, you know what? Not even, to be fair. No? Nah, it's still not back yet. I enjoyed the ladder. The ladder aspect, I actually really enjoyed that, to be fair. But when it comes to the qualifying part, I think I was there from around 11 a.m. up until 7 p.m. and I got nothing from it. Nothing. So I just feel like it's not worth it right now for me.
I think to relate this to the casual sort of community as well, and maybe the people who will be watching this podcast, those qualifying days, you're playing 9-minute halves. So it's a 25-minute game of FC when you're taking the pauses and all that sort of stuff. And you're playing up to 7 games in one day. If you make it to the qualifier on the day after, onto the bracket, you're playing 2 legs of 9-minute games. You're playing about 45 minutes of gameplay, Matt. Like, it is... I'll be honest, as someone who works on the broadcast, the qualifiers are mostly harder than the actual tournaments. Like, if you get through the qualifier, you've got a really good chance of making it into a final stage of a tournament because the mental fatigue that you have to go through, it's exhausting, Matt.
Yeah, I don't know how you guys do it. I mean, we obviously play champs, a lot of the casual guys, and those 6-minute halves.
That's tiring.
That is tiring. Yeah. But you're playing 9-minute halves against the best players in the world. Over 2 legs especially. Like by the end of that first game, you must know everything about your opponent. How does that work? Like when you're actually sat down playing, Ryan?
I feel like, do you know what? Playing's the easier part. It's the wait in between games. Yep. So you play the game, it's done. Fortunately, for my games, we start the game straight on the back. Once we check in, both my man and my opponent, we've checked in. We're in the game and out quick. It's done. But then you're sat there waiting, sometimes even up to an hour.
You got that one guy who's gone to a penalty shootout and then refuses to submit the result.
Yeah.
As a commentator, I've been trying to watch these qualifiers. Yeah. And I'm almost there longer than the players because you've got to wait for the rounds in between. You're waiting for the games to finish. You're then checking the results. You're checking who won. Like, oh,
I'd boot them out because it's the same culprits every time, and it's the same. And I'm thinking, what is causing your game? There's always a dispute in your game. Why? You're the common denominator. Get them out the tournament. I'd boot them out.
Are we naming and shaming? Are we naming and shaming, Ryan?
You know what? This weekend there was a usual one from last. I haven't played a qualifier in
4 years.
Yeah. So yeah, there was always a guy. I remember his name was Gervan. I remember that name, and it was always the same. This weekend, to be fair, he wasn't really that person. But there was somebody, I don't know if you saw it, right? But someone was doing the bicycle kick flick up into the shot. His name was Lickup. He was a Portuguese player. And every game of his, because of his opponent, they were disputing it, saying it shouldn't be allowed. So that caused a lot of delays, and then you're stopping and waiting for them to finish the game. And yeah, it was a nightmare.
I think that's a great point to relate it back to maybe a more casual audience. Before we get into your team and we have a look through your squad and your tactics, this bicycle kick volley that's going around, I didn't see it in Champs.
Mm-hmm.
I think it's a very high level thing that you're only going to see top tier division rivals play. Like, I've not seen one person do it in Champs, to me. What is it for people who are sort of like maybe wanting to get on it? It's not a glitch in the form of like it's in the game. So it's not, for example, like the red time free kick, if you remember that from a few years ago, where you could red time it, it'd go over the wall, and it'd still go in.
Yeah.
Like, what is this bicycle kick volley that's been going around? I've seen a bit of it on TikTok, but like, break it down, because if it is successful, I would bring it into my game.
Yeah, it's been around for a few years, to be fair. Like, it was around, as I said, when I competed a few years ago, and it sort of went down a little bit. I'm not sure if it was not banned, but like it was. I can't actually remember if there was a thing where EA tried to prevent that happening in the events.
Yeah,
but obviously, clearly not nowadays, because you're allowed to do it. But it's literally just a bicycle kick or a sombrero flick or just a flick up into a volley. You don't need to be looking at the goal, sort of at an angle, and then it just loops over the goalie. Genuinely, it's quite simple to do.
100, like 50-60% success, or
it depends. Obviously, it's hard to get that angle to do it because
so the setup's harder than
the setup's way harder than that. The actual attempt is quite easy to do.
There you go.
You just hold L2 and shoot. That's it.
If you want some easy goals, get trying it.
Yeah.
I will be, and I will be getting acrobatic plus players.
I don't even do it, to be fair. I don't even do it.
I need wins, so I'll do whatever I can. Let's get into your squad then, Ryan. This is the RTG, the one that you've been using mainly on your champs and what you've been enjoying using. Let's break it down, because it's all about Danny Welbeck. Yeah. He's the man, the myth, the legend. Before we get into the team and the tactics, why do we have a Welbeck to Glory account?
You know what? I get asked this so many times, right? Some people say, is it your brother? I tell them it's me. I'm actually Danny Welbeck. But then some people say I'm a Brighton fan. But I just had Danny Welbeck. It would have been maybe 2 or 3 years ago. And just for a laugh on stream, I just used him. And someone was like, oh, you remind me of Danny Welbeck. You look like him. So I thought I'd just keep the joke running. Every year now, I just put him into the team. So hopefully he doesn't retire anytime soon. But he's actually, considering the stats and stuff, he's honestly not that bad in game, you know. Not bad at all.
I've not looked at Danny Welbeck's item this year.
Yeah.
He was decent last year, was he not? He scored double-figure goals.
He should be an 81 rated gold for me.
I'm looking at Chris Wood, and I think Danny Welbeck's been hard done by. It is an RTG, completely RTG, no extra incentives, nothing fancy like that.
Nope.
I mean, talk us through the team from start to... from goalkeeper upwards, because I feel like your goalkeeper's probably the best player in the team.
Yeah. So I've actually not used Donnarumma up until obviously this weekend gone, but I used Oliver Kahn. I got him on my main account. My other accounts I've used like De Gea and stuff, but I just thought I want to get a keeper in that's got the play styles. I think he's got footwork. He's got obviously deflector plus. And does he have maybe Silver Rush out as well? I can't actually remember, but he's got at least 2 of those play styles anyway. So I thought I'd spend a fair share of my budget on the keeper. I'll be honest, he wasn't that good. He could have cost me the 15, if anything. I actually thought he was quite poor. But then goalkeepers, you kind of just...
It's all subjective.
Yeah, you never know on what one you're going to get. So I try not to look at it too much. I just want to get a goalkeeper in that can help out with chemistry. And if they've got the play styles and they make a save, it's a bonus. That's it.
Before we move on, goalkeeper quickly. Obviously, Donnarumma for Ryan. Matt, Who's your keeper?
David Raya at the moment.
Okay.
I've actually not used him.
Quite a popular choice. I feel like I come against him quite a lot at the moment. But yeah, I mean, it's a bit of a gamble, isn't it, with anyone you have in goal? But yeah, I've seen a lot of Donnarummas, a lot of Allisons this weekend, a lot of Mamadashvili.
Yeah,
he's my
nightmare.
I saw him a lot.
Yeah, I can't stand him.
I'm Jan Oblak through and through.
Really?
I'm
Linked to that Hanko, right?
Correct. And I'm still using Regeri at left back.
Yeah.
Oh,
He's good, to be fair. He's actually
Regeri
good.
does a job. I'll be honest.
He's
He's
good.
I call him the rug because he just lays it down. He just lays the foundations. Talk with his back four because I'm seeing a lot of pace.
Yeah.
In from Jordi Alba, not the most common pick, but I'm guessing obviously Messi chemistry, but also he looks pretty decent himself.
Yeah, I just thought, again, I wanted to, every week I try to change up the team. I try not to overlap players that I use on other accounts. I find it boring anyway, but
yeah.
The defensive line, I actually had Millie Bright in at centre-back over Calvin Bassey. And in those first 5 games, I think I was 5-0, or obviously was 5-0, but she had awful performances and I thought, this can't continue. We're not going to get a 15 if she's getting shoulder barged at every opportunity. So I thought she's got to leave. Calvin Bassey came into the team who was sort of like a Road to Glory legend at the start of the year. Because on this account, I think I was 60-0. And Calvin Bassey was in centre-back running the show. I packed Frimpong early on, so he stayed in, of course. Van der Ven after the patch. I felt like, obviously, he doesn't even have bruiser, but just having that level of physicality in game, like he's really stocky, he's fast. I defend quite recklessly as well, so having pace is very important for me. And then, as you said, Jordi Alba, the link to Messi was just the key.
It's an interesting one because when you look at the back four, I heard a lot of people saying Frimpong's not very good. But then player. I'm just like, I use him. He's my right back. I packed him early doors. I don't know how you're going wrong in like if he's not very good because he's so fast. He can also play forward, but I feel like I very rarely get done down the right hand side.
Same. Doesn't even feel that weak. Even in previous years, right, I would stay away from fullbacks like this. I'm a person who I'd have Theo and Dumfries either side. Like I need the fighters in fullback. But then I'm using Frimpong and Jordi Alba, and I didn't really feel like maybe a handful of times their lack of physicality maybe cost me a chance or my opponent a chance at goal. Or
according to our data as well, Frimpong is the second most used player in the game.
What?
Oh,
what? Second most?
Trivia number 1.
Pina.
I mean, I don't think it is Pina. I think she's too expensive for people.
What,
it's not Claudia Pina. She's in the top 5.
I think it'd be someone cheaper. I would go.
I'll give you a clue. It's another fullback.
Oh.
Is it Regeri?
It's not Regeri.
Another fullback. Wait, so who do people use?
Kirkes.
No.
Ooh. I'm going to guess it's a left back. You're not going to have 2 right backs.
Yeah, that's what I'm. Yeah, I'm trying to think left back.
Balde?
Surely not.
Too expensive.
Alejandro Balde.
Really?
Yep.
He's like I said, I thought he was going to be too expensive. But then again, Frimpong's expensive. Well, relatively expensive anyway.
3.8 million games on Balde. Just under 3.6 million for Jeremy Frimpong.
I do think part of it, though, when you talk about the fullbacks not being sort of bullied in that area, you are, at the minute, the meta is a lot of female attackers. Claudia Pina's 5'3", I think. I'm seeing a lot of people now using Lauren James, who is a little bit more physical on the right-hand side.
Yeah.
Salma Parejo off the left. That will have a little bit of La Liga coming through for you there. And F League. So I do think there is that element of you're less likely to get done on the physicality battle. When people can start to afford icons, like if I've got Gareth Bale and I'm running at Frimpong, it's game over.
Yeah, it's over.
So I do think there is an element to that. Obviously, we saw the buff recently to the bruiser. Still don't necessarily think it's as strong as it should be, me personally. I think if I'm using Bruiser Plus, I want to be knocking you into the side of the pitch. Like, it's interesting. So we can talk about that a little bit later on. Let's move on to this midfield, because I'm seeing a hero. Was he a hero for Ryan Pessoa? That's the question.
Worst player on the team.
Wow.
Genuinely worst player on the team. He picked up his performances when it mattered most in the last like 3 games, right? But before that, I don't know. He didn't feel that great on the ball, and
Bad playstyle plus? First touch plus? Not really what you want for a right winger?
I would have loved a rapid or a quick step or a finesse if I'm being greedy. But first touch isn't a bad playstyle if you're doing like first time driven passes into them. They can just take it and go. But he just didn't feel great dribbling wise. He felt worse than Danny Welbeck on the ball. I'm not even joking.
Wow.
He felt really poor on the ball, but his finishing was good. He was fast off of the ball, but yeah, he just didn't feel that good.
Do you think he suits a central position better?
Probably, yeah.
Play cam and striker as well.
Yeah, absolutely. I don't know about his passing play styles. To be honest, the only reason he's in the team is because I wanted to get Messi and Jordi Alba on full chem. So if I had a manager in the team, which I did, they'll be on full chemistry. That's the only reason he's there.
Okay, we're a facilitator. I like it.
Yeah.
The rest of the midfield, I'm sick of playing against Caicedo. I see him a lot.
Yeah, he's good. That's a serious player. Tiki-taka as well. I think he's got pings, anticipate, intercepts, maybe relentless. Like he's all over the place. Like he's so good. But yeah, I feel like the shining light, obviously Messi, but having Bruno and Pedro, because I'm trying to chalk away at that Eusebio objective. 100 goals, I think it is in like a different game. So I'm trying to make sure I have Portuguese players in there. Again, that's the only reason they're in the team. But they've done a good job, to be fair.
Was it the first episode of FC26, Matt, with Bateson, we were talking about our sort of hidden gems, players that we've under 20k, and I mentioned Bruno Fernandes as that. I actually played him a little bit further forward as well because of the shooting and the passing that he possesses. I think he's got incisive long ball. Obviously, he's got great shooting stats as well. And I'm a big fan of Bruno. I'd love it. Obviously, in real life, he started playing a little bit deeper as well. If he could play as a CDM, as one of those deep line playmakers, I would be all in, and I'd use that item most of the year because defensively he's actually all right. Obviously, he's relentless plus as well, so you can second man press to your heart's content with him. I do really think there's a player there in Bruno.
Yeah, I love Bruno in this game. Not only for the objective, but again, he doesn't feel that bad on the ball. Passing play styles, he's got everything I need. And he doesn't feel that slow. And even defensively as well, he contributes a lot with the way I play this formation. Like he runs back, helps out. So yeah, he was good for the team.
We obviously know what you're going to say about Welbeck.
Unbelievable player.
He's your star.
Yeah.
Let's talk about Lionel Messi. I saw him quite a lot at the weekend in the pro event coming off the bench as a super sub.
Yeah.
Obviously, he's got great stats. He's under 10k, which feels a crime that Lionel Messi's under 10,000 coins. Before I get your opinion on it, Ryan, I want to go to Matt first, because obviously you've played a lot of champs, you've played a lot of rivals, you've probably played against Messi a decent amount. Has he caused you problems? What's the verdict?
Yes, absolutely. I mean, it's that he always just picks up that position on the edge of the box, doesn't he? And it's that quick, agile player that can do a quick turn with that ticky plus, find a striker, and then it's probably a goal at the end of it. I always think when I see him in the lineup, I've got a game on here. So he's not the typical striker that a lot of people go for. It's I would say the cultured choice in that attacking mid spot.
I mean, if that's let's just say Man City badge, that's an item that's going for a lot of coins. Look at Florian Wirtz, for example. Like he's a lot of coins. He were a big chunk right at the start of the game. 85 shooting, 85 passing, 90 dribbling on a cam with a playstyle plus is pretty elite, Ryan.
Yeah, and the thing is, obviously his pace, you look at it and think, does he really have it? Is he that far? But he feels unbelievably quick. I think the quick step, silver playstyle helps a lot.
Yeah.
I'm going to say something, maybe it's a bit rogue, right?
Here we go. This is what you brought you on for.
I think he's the best player in the game. I'm not even just genuinely. I honestly think this is my first weekend of properly using him. I couldn't believe some of the things I was doing with him. It made me feel like, hold on a second, I still got it, Using like he was that good. I didn't have to do anything. I just gave him the ball and he just, special player. It's an emotional one because obviously you're looking at him 86 overall. I grew up when Messi was 94.
I remember a 94.
Yeah. And it's
centre forward. Yeah.
So there's that nostalgia that kicks in and I feel like I just got to use him every year. And this year, I honestly give him a shot. Genuinely, worth every single penny. Best player I've used this year.
I think as well, like the reason I think a lot of people would say, oh, he's 8,500 coins right now, are links.
Yeah.
How do you fit him into a team?
Mm-hmm.
We've got Evos now, like that Cornerstones evolution, automatically gives him one chem with the club, put an Argentinian manager. He's on 2 chem
that's fine.
without any links.
Yeah.
So I think potentially, we might start seeing a few more players like that, which is always good for squad building. We'd like to see more options. But even with that, I'm still very surprised that he's far off fodder price, really.
Yeah, crazy.
And I'm also sick of seeing Julian Alvarez. So let's not use Messi because any more Julian Alvarez, I might not be able to do it. That's the team. If you are wanting a little tactics information, we're going to jump right into it because these are the tactics that you've been using. We had Brumio on last week who were talking through his 15-0 with the bronze team.
Mm-hmm.
I think tactics-wise, there's nothing that's out of this world, like super niche. The one thing I will say, use Messi on playmaker. A lot of people use shadow striker in that cam position. Why playmaker over shadow striker? Just Messi, or is that always the preference?
Always for me. Last year, I sort of fell into a trap of, because I wanted to try different formations. Almost every week I was changing just to try and refresh it a little bit. A lot of people had shadow striker, and I was just sort of copying it down. And I didn't like this formation last year with the shadow striker. So I tried it this year myself. I thought, I'm just going to build it from scratch, see how I like it. And I felt like with shadow striker, they sort of step on the toes of the striker. I need my attacking mid, to be the person to link up the play. Yeah. But then they're nowhere to be. Sometimes with the shadow striker, they sort of overlap the striker. So they're nowhere to be seen, especially when I need maybe an incisive pass down the wing into that space. Donovan's running, Pedro Neto's running. I need a passer there. So that's why I like it on Playmaker. And honestly, I don't think I will change it for a while. It's probably one of the set in stone roles in the team.
One thing that I immediately saw, ball playing defenders.
Yeah.
That's not something that we've sort of come to see a lot. It's very much just been, defender is kind of the standard, isn't it? So just talk us through the reasoning behind that.
So even last year, again, I used ball playing defender for probably half of the year and defender for the other half. I can't tell the difference. I genuinely can't tell the difference. I don't know. Maybe I'm just being a bit naive or ignorant to the fact maybe they do step a little bit higher. But I promise you, I can't tell the difference. They're just there because they have the role. That's it.
Your right stick switch on to centre back and plug to the halfway line anyway.
So, it doesn't matter.
I suppose if you are, it all depends. I think a lot of tactics and a lot of roles in particular, I think people get hung up on roles a lot.
Mm-hmm.
And I think if you're going to play in a certain way, for example, if Jordi Alba, fullback, he's got fullback plus, he's unbalanced. If you wanted to throw Jordi Alba up the pitch, it don't matter if you're using attack, versatile, defend. If you tap L1, it's in your control to send that player on the run.
Yep.
And I think a lot of people, they expect it almost a game to correct them in a lot of senses. And that's just not going to happen. Like I play on fullback defend on Frimpong and Ruggeri, but I'll still send Frimpong. I'll play a lock on Frimpong and take him on the outside of my fullback on my winger and send him on a run. And then I'm complaining when Frimpong's not a right back defending for me. So I think a lot of it is user error or user inputted, to be honest.
Yeah, I'd agree with that. I have got one last question before we move on. It's about the formation in general. I see a lot of, obviously, 4-4-1-1s this weekend, a lot of the 4-2-3-1 second variant with the DMs and the right mid and left mid.
Yeah.
Is it purely just to get sort of Bruno in the team that you're using that 4-4-1-1, or would you prefer to use the 4-2-3-1?
To be fair, I'm more of a 4-4-2 player. So I prefer a 4-4-2. That's probably my favourite formation. But this year I thought, again, new year, I want to try formation. I didn't use the 4-4-1-1 a lot last year. I didn't like it. I was even using a 4-3-3 second variation with the 1 DM, which was, again, really good. I feel like this year there's a lot of viable options. I wouldn't say there's like a set in stone best formation for me. There's quite a few that I'm enjoying. But I like this formation because compared to the 4-2-3-1 number 2, I have the 2 centimeters as you see on box to box. You technically can if you use 4-2-3-1 with box crashes because they do pump up the field and come back as well. But with the way that the game is played this year, I feel like having the DMs I'm going to concede anyway. And they're not helping me going forward. So I need players that can, the way I phrase it to my chat when I speak to them, overloads, like creating something. My opponent has to think. You've got Neto on the outside who I can play a through ball to. You've got Welbeck he's got enforcer. I can shield the ball up and play people in. You've got Messi who's unbelievable. But then you've also got to worry about Bruno's making a run in. You have to respect the run. Because if you don't, I'll double tap a through ball into him or whatever it may be. And then he's in a goal. So that's the way I look at it. Just having a little bit of structure, because technically I could do that with a 4-3-1-2 and let everybody go forward. But I like it like this because even defensively, a lot of people, they sort of panic when they see a counter-attack on. So they win the ball against me in their own box. They play a pass forward. All that's there are my defenders. My midfield are not there. But then they slow it with my play switch and I just try and force them to slow down. And by the time they do, my whole team are back again. So, which, I'll be honest, I think it's a slight fault in the game. I don't think the box-to-box should work that well. But it is what it is right now.
Yeah, I think that's a great point in the formations. Like, if I think this year more than any other year, if you're willing to put the time in and learn something, like I saw people saying, "Oh, you can't use a 3-back or a 5-back."
Can.
They're very viable
Yeah.
if you've got the players in there and you're good enough at the game to make it work. Like the more I'm thinking about the game and the more that defensively I feel quite incapable, that 5-4-1's becoming a very quick reality.
Yeah, that's why I used that to start.
Yeah, honestly, getting some good wing backs who can get forward.
Yeah,
and starting to get some crosses in the box as well. Because I also think whipped cross is going to be very, very good. And I think we're just waiting. I saw that we got a playstyle plus, I think, for whipped cross plus.
Yeah,
I'm waiting for the right player to put that on, but there will come a time, and I'm going to get some crosses whipped into that box. Believe me. Let's move on, because every week we play a very good game, and it's evolving. This game. Firstly, we couldn't think of a name for it, and then we thought of a fantastic name, Hot or Not, and I think it's time for next week. We will have a theme song, and I will come up with it. But before we talk about the live content and we get Matt's opinion and we talk about how the market has been impacted, it is time for another stellar, game-breaking, award-winning episode of Hot or Not. Ryan Pessoa is in the hot seat. I think I heard a little clap then from the producer as well. Maybe just me. 5 SBCs that came out in the last week. You just need to tell me, Ryan, are they hot or are they not? Are they complete or are they miss? Here we go. Player of the month, Harry Kane.
Ooh. I'm going to say miss for one reason only. Ooh. Because they changed incisive to long ball. I promise you, if he had incisive, he'd be in my team. No, I promise you. That's the only thing. So miss for me.
Arda Güler ratings reloaded.
I would say complete. I used him yesterday as well on my main account. It's gonna sound weird because of what I just said. I didn't think he was that good, but it's 60k. So I feel like when you have, most people will have that level of fodder, even untradeable in their club. And I feel like sooner or later he will fit into an either. You're sort of just trying to save him for maybe a couple months down the line. So yeah, complete.
Player of the month, Christian Pulisic.
Miss for me. Miss.
Nice and quick.
Yeah.
Base hero match day pick. This is the second variation of it. Papin, Bompasta, or Guti. It's 100k to complete.
Miss.
And finally, the most expensive SBC of the week. Player of the month, Erling Haaland.
Again, it's a miss for me. I think it's just too expensive, and I feel like it's a worse playstyle plus. Like, if also still good. Yeah, I feel like low driven though, you can just score some weird, like the toe poke animation you get with that playstyle plus on like Pina, for example. So yeah,
4 misses this week. It's a great week. Another episode of Hot or Not right there. Matt, we'll come to you. Obviously, those SBCs quite impactful. We alluded to them last week. I think we had a few estimations. We probably priced Erling Haaland a little bit more expensive than he actually did come out in the end. Harry Kane, I think I actually completed Harry Kane, and I have to say he's very good. I'll be honest. The low-driven finesse is my favourite way of scoring. What did you think of the content over the week and this new promo as well that came out on the Friday?
Yeah, I think just on the player of the months, I think we've now got the sort of idea through of like how they're going to be doing these player of the months now. So Erling Haaland, same rating as his most recent team of the week. Did get a few +1s on that, all +1s on everything bar the physical, and obviously that playstyle plus change. So I think we've got to sort of factor that in when it comes to price predictions now. He's obviously coming at around 600k. We had him, I think, at about sort of 800-900 if he was a 92.
Yep.
So I think it's good to see that we're keeping the ratings down a little bit and not using those player of the months to kind of kick on. But yeah, a lot of similar opinions from the community in terms of whether these are completes or not. Quite a lot.
Anyone played against Haaland, by the way? I don't actually
once, I think.
I've not played him. So what's that? 45 games, 1 in 45. I think that's probably about the completion rate, to be honest, in the community. 1 in 50 people doing him. Anything else caught your eye over the week, Matt?
I think, ratings reload. I think it's fair to say pretty good squad. If we're looking at sort of the current prices, most of that starting 11 is in or around or above that 100k range. Whether that's an indication of the popularity of the player or the pack weight, I'll let people decide. But I mean, it's a strong team. There are a few kind of mid-range options that I actually really, really like. Mm-hmm. That Lucy Bronze at right back, I don't think is a bad shout at all. Scott McTominay under 100k with those stats and decisive plus.
Yeah,
like it's a good. There are a few players in here that I don't want to give financial advice on these podcasts because they always come to bite me. But that kind of player for 100k out of packs, I don't think you can go wrong with.
I actually think both Chelsea fullbacks. Because there's not, obviously, left-backs wise, we were just talking about it then. Balde, he's one of the most used. I don't think there's a lot of all-round fullbacks. I think there's a lot of either really pacey or like you're looking at like a Trent at right-back who can't really run but's got great creative ability. This Cucurella is one of the first ones where it's quite spread out across the board. And I think for 50k, I don't hate that, to be honest. Obviously, you're a big Arsenal fan, Ryan. Eze in 200k. Played with him, tempted to use him. Is it worth the price?
See, the problem is, right, I'm a playstyle player, and he's lacking quite a few important playstyles for me. I might just have to put it to the side because how can I talk? I'm using Danny Welbeck up top. So it's like, but I have to agree with Matt. McTominay, trust me, that's a serious player. That's a Richard Buckley centre mid, if I've ever seen one. Runs into the box. He's got aerial as well. That's a serious player.
Yeah. The higher tier of this promo, Rodman, Alvarez, Heung-min Son. Son were a really interesting one because a lot of the times it's only usually Messi, Ronaldo are the promo players from quote-unquote not the big 5 leagues that will ever be expensive. This is Son for 300,000 coins. I would have thought this would have been a little bit cheaper than what it is, but Playstyle Plus, fantastic. Again, South Korea, Korea Republic, it's not a outstanding nation to link with. That one surprised me a little bit. I thought that might have been a little bit cheaper, Matt.
I think it's name value a little bit. Yeah. I think, rarity as well. I'm not sort of too sure how much this is being packed. Obviously, if we look at what you get in champs rewards, max 87 for a lot of those, so he's not being packed untradeable as much. So I can understand it. I think that name value, obviously the finesse plus, links are a big thing, but you get a Korean manager in there, he's already got a little bit of chemistry. It's a tricky one for me to get into teams. Improvement
on the last promo. I think that's what we're going to say. First promo, the didn't really cornerstones. I think missed the mark a little bit. I think this is
cornerstones though. But to be fair, I'm also thinking of the cosmetic because you can get the chem rather than the team. To be fair,
the one thing I will say, this is cornerstones. Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
This is Ratings Reloaded. In 3 months' time, I will not be able to tell you the difference in those items.
Yeah, literally. Yeah.
They look quite similar. Hopefully we get a bit of colour on the next promo. We're sort of alluding to the fact that it could be something Scream related, Halloween related. I think that's the rumour mill at the moment.
Bring it back.
At the start of the year, there was the article that came out saying there's going to be benchmark promos that are going to accelerate the game. I think Winter Wildcards, for, Team of the Year, Team of the Season, Foot Birthday were sort of those cornerstones. But I feel like with the gold items dropping a little bit, which it seems quite significant, Matt, that a lot of gold items are dropping a lot in price. I think we're due something that's hefty.
Yeah, I mean, we can go through just very, very quickly a little bit of the market because it was, I'll be honest, it was a tricky one for people this weekend.
My club's died.
I'll attempt to share my screen again.
Here we go. Pressure's off me.
Here we go. This is my first time doing this. So this is the PGP page on FUTBIN, right? So this is where we can see basically the most used players. One that I want to look at straight away is obviously Claudia Pina, someone that I think is fair to say we've all come up against a hell of a lot.
Yep.
If we just quickly look at what happened to her price. So obviously she was out of packs for, I believe, was it Cornerstone's Team 2?
Yeah.
So you can see here, obviously, peaking on Thursday, last day out of packs, comes back into packs. If you've had her in your team tradable, say you picked her up on Thursday, you're losing over half your coins on that. A lot of people, how many coins are you making from Champs Rewards? You're probably losing more on your team than you're making on these kinds of players.
So the patch as well? The bruiser patch? Do people panic? Maybe?
It could be a little bit of that. Obviously, yeah, patches do have a big impact on the market. But even like the lower tier, if you look at someone like Omar Marmoush, very, very heavily used.
He should not be 5k, by the way. He ruins me every time I play against him.
Even someone like this,
yeah,
13.5k going into champs, we come out of it over a 50% drop. Let's go for one more. This is someone in or out of packs. Salman Paruwea, obviously, in packs as a ratings reload team 1. Goes out of packs above 100k and still dropping despite not having any supply from rewards. So for me, I am kind of getting to that point now where I'm probably looking to shift away from some of the gold cards. You know, we've got a couple of promo teams now that we can begin looking at. Even someone like, you know, if you're looking at people that you can begin upgrading to, I know coins are a little bit harder to come by this year, but these out of packs guys dropping far, far less across a weekend. Obviously, the lack of supply, they are slightly more rare. So they could be a slightly safer bet for teams moving forward. I really do like, as I say, some of these rating reloads players that we've already been through. I think, you know, if you're looking at players that could rise out of packs, so you're potentially not even losing coins, but making some coins on your team, these could be a safer bet.
I think as well, when you look at the ratings reload, obviously the big difference between the two promos, if, let's take, I don't know, McTominay, for example, if he was to get an inform as a gold item, there's a good chance that item won't be as good as or even level with the ratings reload. For the cornerstones, if Florian Wirtz was to get an inform, more than likely never going to happen. But if he was to get an inform, there's a good chance that will be level playing field, and it could be a similar sort of price, not price, but stat wise and playstyle plus wise similar. So I think there's more security. Again, not trading advice. There's more security in the ratings reload because the stats that these players have been given is a nicer boost than they would typically get on an inform or even when we're looking at player of the month. If McTominay was to get a player of the month, I don't see him being that much better than the ratings reload item that he's being given.
I'd agree with that. And you've got the extra kind of comfort of not only a playstyle plus, but a premium playstyle plus. So now we're not that McTominay inform or player of the month, for example, could have the same stats that we've now seen with like the Haaland and Harry Kane player of the month. They could give him a different, not as premium playstyle plus. So you've got that security there as well. So again, not financial advice. I want to make that very, very clear. But if you have got, you know, a few coins sort of lying around and you're worried about your team, obviously it's always safe to go untradeable. I think a lot of people do that these days. But if you are looking to go tradable, I think these promo cards, obviously impacts for a limited time, are a safer bet as they go out of packs.
There you go. Thank you very much, Matt. Let's move on to the big talking points of the week. And I'm very intrigued to get your opinion, Ryan, as a pretty consistent 15-0 player. We got an update from the EASFC Direct X account. And I'll just read what it said. This came out on the 10th of October, so the Friday before Champ started. And it just read, ahead of this weekend, we've identified and addressed an issue affecting the form aspect of matchmaking in FUT Champions. Generally speaking, you can expect to matchmake with players who are in similar form to you. It raised a lot of questions. What on earth were happening before? Like, did we just throw the form book out the window? We're an FA Cup away tie, big club versus little club, like the form that matter. I suppose the big questions I've got for you two was, did we feel a change? Was it harder? Was it easier? Were the games tougher? Obviously, both, I think, 14-1 and 15-0, respectively, for you two. What did we feel Champs was like comparing the 2 weeks, if you were to compare and contrast them? Ryan, we'll start with you.
First week, I'll be honest, across all three accounts I played, genuinely didn't play anyone that was anywhere near. Honestly...
If you were to give an average division rivals expectation on these players, like Div 5, Div 6, probably?
Maybe, I'd say at best, it felt like anyway, maybe Division 4. Okay. Genuinely, I didn't play anybody in that first week where I thought, yeah, there's no way you're going to beat me. This week, however, I know I still got a 15-0, but it was a lot harder. It was actually quite difficult in some of those games. But when I got to around like 9-0 onwards, I felt, whoa, there's a big jump from the level of opponent I was up against.
Did it just feel like it did last year?
Yeah, it felt pretty... To be fair, last year, I feel like last year maybe wasn't as hard as this past week. Maybe I just got unlucky, but I was playing some really... It was really tough. I can't lie, it was really difficult.
What about yourself, Matt?
Yeah, I would agree with that. Like last week, it did just feel, very open. The games I was winning were comfortable wins. Yeah. I bottled it on 14-0. It's probably the pressure. Pressure. This week lost at 8-0, and pretty much every game was 1 or 2 goals in it after that. So I do still think it feels easier in general than last year because of maybe the lack of playoffs and it just being a Div 6 plus entry requirement. But definitely a change this week. No flick up volleys. So I don't think anyone I played would be in, mid Div 1 or elite. Let's put it that way. It still felt like maybe instead of Div 4 last week, maybe Div 3, Div 2 average this week.
If you were to predict or sort of contemplate, you've got the graphs, you've got the bar charts of the people who are playing Champs. How big do you think that Division 6 portion is? If you were to say, Joe, when you play pro clubs and you can see how many clubs are in Division 10, how many clubs are in Division 9? Because it feels like now it's open in Div 6, anyone can play in Div 6. Are people getting to Div 6 and then going, I'm in Champs, I can get my 4 to 5 wins. I don't really want to progress any further in division rivals, but I've always got the champs qualification.
I think that's absolutely what's happening, because let's not forget, the packs that you get in rivals are the same from any division all the way up to elite. You're only getting a couple of player picks difference, and it's rating difference. You still get the same amounts.
Yeah.
And obviously, the coins and I think Team of the Week pack might be different. I can't remember if it's just the rating or whatnot, but there's not a huge disparity.
It's not sizable.
Yeah, exactly. I wouldn't say there is an incentive right now to progress in division rivals. You want to get your wins as quick as possible for the same rewards effectively. So I do think there is a very, very heavy sway towards Div 6.
And then and if you've got the players who are in Division 6 or Division 5 or already getting the champs qualification, they're not playing for a week. They're not playing rivals. They're coming on, getting their points. I don't even know if you need the points to qualify if you're already in Div 6. I think you need to get the champs qualification points still, if I'm not mistaken, to sort of get in, but you get them already from being in the division. So you might come on, you play 3 games in the week, then you're going into a FUT champs where you're matching up against people who are actively playing every week. That can be, you can be a Div 6 player and match Stokes on a Friday, playing at Friday morning, wanting to get through 6 champs records at 0-0. It's what it's always been, but I still feel like it's not a happy experience for the players who are not good enough at the game.
Yeah, someone brought that up to me as well. And it wasn't something I thought about. But for example, last week, they were saying for the top tier players, amazing. You're mostly breezing through most of the games.
A lot of people going 4-11, 5
Yeah,
10.
yeah. Because some of the people in my chat, they were saying, how are you going? It's so hard. And obviously, I'm not thinking about, because someone's got to play me or Matt, and you don't really want to play, or you as well, Rich. I know you're dangerous at the game, but they don't want to. You could be somebody at, again, Division 6 with the matchmaking. I don't even know. You could be maybe even 0-3 last week and have come up against me at 5-0. I don't know how lenient the matchmaking was. I just felt like it was so open that it felt like, honestly, if you're just in champs, you can play anybody. Yeah. You could play anyone.
But there's also the catch-22 where you can't make challenges bigger, because then you get people in, say, Division 6 is able to be play challengers. You get people who are playing in Div 6 challengers who are used to playing champs, going and beating 6-year-old Freddie in Division 10 who don't know X from Circle. It's...
Freddie got to get good.
The squad battle's available, Freddie.
Exactly.
I do think it needs looking at a little bit more.
Yeah.
But I don't know the solution. Let us know what you think. What did you get in champs at the weekend? Let us know your record down below. We usually talk a little bit about football for the last couple of 10 minutes or so of the podcast. I do want to mention England because they did play over the weekend. But I just want your opinion, Ryan, very quickly on goalkeeper movement, because I've seen people in, goalkeeper movement out. It feels like it is constantly a talking point in the community. I've got a very strong opinion on it.
Yep.
But I want your voice first.
Okay, so when it was first added into the game years back when I was still competing, I hated it because I felt like it was a bailout. And to be honest, I feel like it still is a bailout for bad decision-making defensively anyway. However, because they've slowed it down, I'm sort of, like, my mind is comparing it back to like in 2019 when you could just, it was like Spider-Man. You were all of ice skating on the line. It was crazy. Yeah. Now it's not as bad. And I feel like the people that are using it, unless you're playing at the top tier players, they move too early anyway. So it's kind of like a free goal. So I kind of like it that way. And I know that I can get a bailout because as I said, I defend very recklessly in champs. I'm not even thinking, I'm running at you. So you're in on goal most of the time. So I could just move my keeper. But if they took it out, similar to time finishing last year, it wouldn't concern me. I don't mind if it's here or not.
Matt, anything to add? Obviously, we spoke about this a few weeks ago with think it was with Bateson. It feels like it's more like prevalent now than it was a couple of weeks ago. What's your take on it?
Yeah, I had a few instances this weekend, and it's like, especially in rivals, where you get those games where it's 4-2-3-1 or 4-4-1-1. They're grabbing the centre mids, in between the centre backs, and it's difficult to break down. That one instance where you break through, and then they get bailed out by that far post keeper movement. It's difficult to take. I would always be an advocate for only outside the box if there is an outside the box meta like Trivella's and Finesse's.
Yeah, I'm with that as well.
It also has to be on set pieces.
Set pieces, agree, yep.
Yeah.
Yeah, I would only have it on set pieces outside the box, if I'm being honest. I think if you are good enough to get inside the box this year and you have the right shot with precision shooting, right play styles, why not? It always result in a goal.
My opinion on it is, I think, as similar to what you said, Ryan, a lot of people use it, 3 goals. Especially this year, you move that goalkeeper a little bit to the far post, loads of a near post goal.
Yep, see ya.
I don't think goalkeepers are good enough for it not to be in the game. Personally, I think goalkeepers aren't. There's that shot where you can you're running at a little bit of an angle and then you can just blast it near post. If that's a thing and goalkeeper movement isn't in the game, I'm scoring near post every single time. So I think goalkeepers would need to get pretty significantly buffed for goalkeeper movement to be out. I think what they've done with outside the box shots, with the Trivellas and the Finesses being nerfed. I mean, Finesses not so much, but Trivellas especially.
Yeah.
Almost into the ground. Is because they don't necessarily know what to do with the goalkeepers. So you nerf their shooting rather than adjusting the goalkeeper. Because I think goalkeepers are on a very, very fine line. If you make them too good, people just switch off. If you make them too bad, every attack's a goal.
Yeah.
So I think it has to be in the game, me personally, when the goalkeepers aren't very good. And I also think there's more ways to score than ever before. Like, we've not even, power shots, for example, haven't really been looked at yet. But similar to the bicycle kick, rainbow flick goals,
that'll be something.
People will find power shots out. Yeah. There'll become a point where I don't think even last year, it wasn't until the global qualifier where the first time power shots became massive for the community. And as soon as people saw all these pro players doing first time power shots then became the meta. So there is an event in a couple of weeks in Atlanta where you're going to get some of the best players in the world and players that we've not seen play the game yet. Anders, Emre Yilmaz, Manu Bachore, these players who know how to break the game fundamentally. I do think we're going to see a lot changing over the next couple of weeks in this game, and goalkeeper movement might need to be in the game for the sanity of the community. I'll be completely honest. Yeah. Let's end with England. We've got one final game. It's going to be start, bench, or stay at home. I've got 5 players. We've got a World Cup year coming up. You're Thomas Tuchel. You're in the changing room. You're writing down the sheet. Start, bench, or stay at home. Phil Foden.
Bench for me.
Yeah, bench. Maybe come on in the right game given his current form.
Yeah.
Ollie Watkins.
Bench.
Yeah.
Adam Wharton.
Bench again for me.
Between him and Elliot Anderson.
Yeah, Elliot Anderson nicks it for me.
Yeah.
Jude Bellingham.
I think you got to start him.
Oh, that's a tough one, Rich. I don't.
Can't start everyone.
Yeah. I would bench him.
We've got a couple more players. I think this one's quite self-explanatory. Bukayo Saka.
Start.
England's best player.
Kane and
on his day, I think he bails us out of a lot of games.
Yeah.
Anthony Gordon.
I'd start him at the moment.
Ryan's letting him stay at home.
No, not stay at home. I'm just trying to think who I would start on the left instead. I'm having a brain fart of the options.
Well, I've got another one that might change your mind.
Go on.
Eberici Eze.
See, that's who I was thinking. I love Eze. I'm a massive Eze fan. Even before he joined Arsenal, I loved him at Palace. Would I start Gordon? I don't know, Matt. You're gonna have to save me. I don't actually know.
I think him and Eze dovetail it really nicely.
Yeah.
You know, but then Marcus Rashford. What happens if he continues? Jack Grealish.
Yeah.
Even. You know, we're not playing Phil Foden out on the left. Let's put it that way.
He's not starting. Yeah.
Two more players. Start bench or stay at home. Cole Palmer.
Start for me. I know he's been.
So how many players are you starting? You got 17 players starting.
No, I've benched a lot of people.
You got
I'd start Palmer.
Rice, Water, Bellingham, Palmer, Saka, Eze.
Nah, some of them are on the bench. I'd have Rice, Elliot Anderson, Palmer as my midfield. That's what I would.
I would. Yeah, between him and Jude, I'd start Jude. Cole comes on 80th minute, scores a goal.
And finally, maybe the most debated player in the England team. He's not been in the last couple of Tuchel's squad announcements. Trent Alexander-Arnold.
Ooh. To be real, it depends on Reece James' fitness for me. But if Reece James is fit, then Trent bench for me.
He goes. You know, he's not going to be sitting on the sofa. But
Yeah.
I don't see where he fits in this current system.
It's only but then even still, if James gets injured, you still got. I rate Jed Spence and plays that. So that's like
Yeah. Oh, Jed Spence potentially on the left.
on the left as well. Yeah.
You know,
Well, that's the debate. Let us know. Who's your starting 11 for England down below? We don't have too many international breaks left to go until we kick off with World Cup, and all the World Cup action, fallout, hype will be coming on the FUTBIN channel across all FUTBIN social media as well. So make sure you stay tuned in. Make sure you hit that subscribe button so you never miss an episode of the FUTBIN pod. And last but not least, Mr. Ryan Pessoa, where can people see a little bit of your beautiful face if they want to catch the Welbeck to glory?
Yeah, I've been, to be fair, consistent for me, my standards anyway, over on my Twitch, just my name, Ryan Pessoa with an underscore, and then on YouTube, just Ryan Pessoa. I post all my Road to Glory content over there as well.
There you go. Thank you very much. Great guest, as always. Me and Matt will be back next week with another episode of the FUTBIN pod and another one of the FC creators. Let us know who you want to see down below as well. Thank you for watching, and good luck in your FUT champs. I will see you with a 7 and 8 record. See you next week.